Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show, a program exclusively designed to promote reproductive health awareness and discuss fertility preservation options. Here is your host, the Harvard-educated fertility specialist, Dr. Amy.
She's known as the Egg Whisperer.
Fertility expert Dr. Abbey LeVine.
And you have yet another success story
Just launched by an East Bay fertility doctor.
Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show. I am beyond delighted to have Abbey LeVine on today to talk to us about her journey to motherhood. Welcome, Abbey.
Thank you for having me, Amy. I really want to say that I love your work.
Of course. So I'd like to share with you listeners a little bit more about Abbey. She's the CEO of Swirl Studios and founder of Spread the Sparkle. I love that term. She and I met when we were both quoted in a Good Morning America story titled How Two Single Women Determined to Become Mothers Created Three Families, which was all about your journey of becoming pregnant with donated embryos. You gave birth to your daughter, Gala. Is that her? I don't want to thank you. In September 2019, and that's a fabulous name. And I'm sure there's a story behind that name, and I would love to hear it. When you were 46 years old, you now educate and mentor people about the beauty of embryo donation. Welcome. Would you share about your journey to become a mother?
The first thing I want to say is that I don't think anyone's first choice is embryo donation. Like, I don't think anybody wakes up and says, I'm going to have a donated embryo. There's like a long process to get to this step. I fully feel that I have 100% the right child in my life, and I'm so grateful. And if I can do anything at all to help people skip through some of the heartache of just whatever the journey is, I just want to, I'm a big advocate for healthy eggs via donation. So I didn't know that I wanted to have children until I was over 35, never even considered freezing any eggs. Dated two people who I thought were going to be baby daddies, like very, they were very secure in their life. And I was in love with them and we were settling down, and neither of them worked out to be the right guy for me. And so then suddenly, around 42, I realized that I didn't have a lot of options. And, I didn't really do enough research because I had this call to become a mother, but I'm sort of oddly spiritual in the way that I feel like everything works out the way that it's supposed to work out. And I just knew I was going to be a mother somehow. I looked into fostering children and I researched it. I researched adoption, and for 8 years, every time I had sex, I cried when I got my period. I mean, really, I always thought it might happen naturally. So, what led me, I mean, it was really happenstance for me. So I don't know how this is good. I hope that this is still encouraging for other people, but I have a friend who had donated embryos. So she paid for eggs and sperm, and she made 17 embryos. She was a genius egg finder and chose somebody who produced, I think, 22 eggs in one take. And my friend Wendy, she burned through 10 embryos unsuccessfully, which is highly, highly, highly unlikely and unusual. And it turned out that she didn't know that her uterus couldn't hold the embryos. I signed paperwork, and Wendy legally gave me 7 embryos in Manhattan. This was in Manhattan. So I was gifted. So, they were sitting in a freezer so Wendy ended up adopting and had these 7 leftover embryos. And our conversation had started, again, like what I want to say to people listening is to be really open to just conversations about what this looks like, because you just never know where you're going to end up. And when Wendy was still, before Wendy knew she was going to adopt, and she still had the embryos, and she knew that her uterus wasn't able to carry to term, she said, I just wish I could find a surrogate. And at the time, I was teaching spinning, and I just felt really, really healthy. And I actually jokingly said, like, well, I'll carry twins, like having no idea that I couldn't just easily become pregnant with twins. Like, I thought they just put in two embryos and I carry one. And I just said, well, I'll carry one, and then there can be siblings. So you can have one and I can have one baby. And that was just my creative brain going, like, there's a way, there's a way. And then, of course, that timing didn't work out, and my uterus actually wasn't ready. I had fibroids removed. I had to have a breast surgery to have a lump removed also. So once I got the embryos, and then I had a bicornate, is that what it's called, a bicornate uterus also. So I had three surgeries to prep after I knew that I had the healthy embryos.
And now with the remaining embryos, what plans do you have for them?
So I had to move the embryos from Wendy's reproductive endocrinologist. A friend of mine was in town, and we moved these 7 embryos across town in a freezer. I mean, it's so wild now. I don't really look at my daughter Gala and think of this often at all. But when I talk about it like this, like, it's wild that she was a cluster of cells in a freezer that I moved in a van across town, like, I mean, in a lift, across town. And so then after so I had one unsuccessful implantation of 2 embryos. We implanted 2 embryos in January of 2018, and no, I'm sorry, November of 2018, and they didn't take. And then Christmas came around, so I couldn't implant again. I was so impatient. The process, everything is such a waiting game. And then I decided after the second implantation that I was gonna have fun. So I'm single, and I actually, like, went out on a date with a guy. Like, I got implanted on a Saturday, I went on a date on a Tuesday, and I ended up dating him for like 6 months, even when I was pregnant, which was like super fun. And he knew the whole story, and he was never going to be the dad. But so, like, all these crazy magical things, started coming out of my life once I decided to do the implantation. And then there were 3 embryos left, because I implanted 2 and then 2. And then there were 3 left, and they got on a jet plane and flew to San Diego. I gifted them to my friend who wants to remain anonymous, but she now has a 3-month-old daughter, who is Gala's biological sister. And her situation's, like, very different from mine. She's engaged, and they tried a couple of times to do, it just didn't work out for them, and their road just this was sort of an easy option for her. And the baby and Gala look so much alike, and eventually we'll all meet when the timing is right. And I hope that they have a nice relationship. And we've joked a lot that my friend who had the baby said, like, when they're 21, we'll take them to Paris and go out dancing. And I'm like, we'll be 70, so I'm gonna be sitting in the cafe drinking champagne, and they can go out dancing. Remember how old we are.
I love it. You guys must have so much fun together. And I have goosebumps just hearing your story. I don't know. You can probably see the hair on my arms. It's such a wonderful story. And what reaction have you gotten from people about this? I mean, so much about your story shifts how many people have thought about family. And I think, like what you're doing brings more awareness about embryo donation. So what kind of, reaction are you getting from people?
I decided a while ago not to give an F at what anyone said. So that's how I live my life. And so that's the first thing that I think, laying that groundwork, and it is respectful. Other people can have, families that are nuclear. I didn't love how nuclear family worked for me growing up. I didn't love it when I was in relationship. I hope there's some other strange evolution of family for me besides me and my daughter in the future. I love being a mom. I love it brings me immense joy, and I would not have stopped um, trying. If I hadn't gotten pregnant for some reason, I would have gone back and re-examined either foster care or foster to adopt, or I would have explored adoption after the embryo donation. But the reaction I get is, I mean, I actually don't think I've had one single negative reaction, not to my face. People admire, but I also wear my journey as a badge of courage. I mean, I sort of give people the facts right up front and I tell them because there's a part of me that kind of likes shocking people, to be really honest. And also, I'm really proud to have, like, to be a trailblazer in this field. And I'm definitely first in a lot of my circles. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I am exhausted. I work full time. I just moved from Manhattan to Vermont in order to create a kind of a different lifestyle for us. And I work full time on my business, and Spread the Sparkle is a nonprofit. And so there's lots going on, but I tell people a lot, like, that gala doesn't have dad, and she's a double donor, and if you don't know what that means, I'm happy to answer any questions. And I just say, like, I gave birth a month shy of 47, and I love it. I love telling the story. So I've had really positive reactions, and some people ask questions, and some women that are on the journey, you know, I've learned to be really sensitive about. I don't push it, but if people ask, I don't push the idea, because I really am a big fan of embryo donation and egg donation. I think at 39, 40, 41, 42, women really think that they can still really have kids, and I don't think there's enough literature and truth telling out there, because I get it also, because I think that people have to try. Like, I had to have 3 IUIs with the guy that I was dating that I thought was going to be the dad. But that was only $10,000 and a year and a half. But the minute that I turned 45, my doctor in Manhattan said, there's no more chances for you. Like, I'm not taking your 30 grand to try to pull an egg to try this. And I kind of feel like people should be aware of that sooner. And so that's why I've become an embryo and egg donor advocate, because I want people to ask me questions, because in the end, I have the most amazing daughter. She's beautiful and she's funny and everyone loves her and she's smart. I think that this is a little woo-woo, but I thought this before, but I think that the body is just a vessel for the soul. And so we try so hard to have our own, like, biology in it. And by the way, and 100% nature. She has the same hair color as me, and, like, we look alike. We totally grew to look alike. And I mean, I'm curious to know what you say about genetics, and she's just like me, you know, and she's just like me. I mean, I'm raising her, and so she's just like me. So I feel like there's just, I mean, I don't, yeah. I think that the biology of it all is just oversold.
And I see that too. I have patients where I have used an egg donor and then they come back to me and they're like, are you sure that you didn't somehow use my egg? Because my child looks and acts and I just feel like she came from me and I have to, and they did. Same with embryo donors, same thing. I've had patients share their own, you know, double donor embryos and they're like, I don't understand, like, how magical like, had I known, I would have done it sooner too, is something that I hear from people as well. And obviously, you know, this experience sounds like it's changed you in many ways, turned you into a mother first and foremost. And you've also created something, and I'd love for you to share what you created, Mama by Design. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
The way that I found support in this journey was when I was getting all these surgeries on my uterus. That I started a Facebook group for myself called Abby's Uterus Fan Club because I needed it to be fun. Because I really was like sinking low into thinking this was just never going to happen. And like, I had to recover for like 6 months from fibroid surgery. And so I feel like we all need a destination for sisterhood and questions around this process. To be frank, I've wanted to like blow this business up and make this my whole business, and I just haven't had the time to do that. But I wanna invite people to come check out my journey because I still pinch myself every single day that I get to be a mom. I say gratitudes in the morning. We say gratitudes together before we go to bed. I don't take any of this for granted, and so that's what I post for now. Is my journey. What I hope Mama by Design, and it's MOMMA by Design, becomes is a destination for curious women, about egg and embryo donation. And I want to normalize um, this idea that it's okay to not have a child biologically and still carry it. I mean, I'm so grateful I got to carry a child. Actually, I really wanted to do that, but also I didn't really want to do that until I was 40. And luckily, I took care of myself my whole life, so I was able to do that. And everyone's journey is different. So Mama by Design is set up to be a place. I'm hoping it become, what I would like to do is set up like peer groups, so people can talk to each other, going through the process. Because especially now, we're just all so isolated, and people don't talk about the fact that they go to fertility, or there's no uterine health conversations going on. And that's like a huge part of this. And a lot of times we're doing this with a partner. I mean, I luckily did all my fertility with the guy I thought I was going to then maybe have a baby with. So I wasn't ever actually alone. But the second I got pregnant, I was by myself. I was alone. So this was a place where it's actually become an expression of look at us. That's sort of how it started, because I wanted people to see what we were up to, because I think it's kind of remarkable.
I'd have to agree. And you talked about normalizing things, and especially the conversation around embryo donation. Can you share some of the most common misconceptions that people have about embryo donation?
I think that the misconception about not feeling attached to a child is discussed a lot. I don't have that gene that says I need to pass myself on, because Gala's gonna have my name, my last name. And I'm telling you, she's just exactly like we're two peas in a pod. And so I don't feel that there's any lack of family relation. I don't know what will happen when she gets older and starts asking questions. She's been saying dada lately. And I realized that that's her way of saying gala, because I finally asked her to do it. And so I said, okay, phew, I can like escape the conversation for now, but she will 100% know. I have two anonymous donors. So, but I'm pretty sure. I don't know how that's all going to work as she gets older, but the idea is to create a life so fabulous that she's not going to feel that she's going to feel better. She's going to feel like even better than anyone, than how other, that she's going to feel as loved or more than other families do. So she'll have aunties. We'll travel a lot, and she's just going to love how she came into existence, I hope. And if not, I'll deal with that. That part I don't know yet.
Can you tell, I'm just curious, what is Spread the Sparkle? Can you share that with us? Because I love that name and your charity.
Spread the Sparkle started started on Christmas in 2014, because I felt like there was more I could be doing on Christmas Day, because I'm Jewish. So I felt that it was my calling to start a nonprofit. It's a 501c3 where we have events on Christmas Day for women and kids who have survived domestic violence. It was another way for me to sort of have family and create family for me and other people. Being of service on that particular day felt really, really, really great. So we've had 6 like big ass parties on Christmas Day at a beautiful studio called Home Studios in Manhattan. They have been amazing. They donate the space to us on Christmas Day, and we get donations from people, individuals. We're always looking for money, and we get catering. We get a Santa Claus. We get gifts for all the kids. We get gifts for all the moms. We spoil the moms. We do like nails and fun things. We do crafts for the kids, cookie making, photo booths, women, kids, and men who have survived domestic violence. And yeah, so we spread the sparkle. And we didn't get to do it last year, and we're kind of examining how we can keep doing it because it's been great. It's all volunteers. It's funny that you were so interested in it because it is another way that I created family. So it's funny that you caught on to that.
Is there anything else you want to share for us today or share with us?
It's so hard to explain the pain of fertility. And you can listen to a million podcasts and still feel alone in it. And I don't think there's just no way to comfort somebody going through fertility, just knowing that they don't know the outcome. And at the same time, you have to keep believing that it's going to happen. And then like the 2-week wait is also so wild because you have to think that you're pregnant, and like there's this just mental gymnastics that goes on with fertility it's excruciating. And so I just want to honor everybody who's watching this and that's going through it, and like just say you don't have to be happy. You don't have to tell anyone what's going on, and like you can take breaks. And I do just want to give like a teeny bit of advice to just keep options open and keep asking questions. And I recently talked to my reproductive endocrinologist, and he was like, you did not stop. Like you were not ever going to stop. My response to that was like, well, I don't know how people stop. Like it was never an option for me to stop. But also I didn't have a ton of money and I didn't have a ton of options. But so that's what I want to say, is just that there are ways. And if you're thinking about embryo donation or egg donation and you're not sure, please reach out to me on Instagram at Mama by Design. And Dr. Amy is amazing. I've seen all of your press and what your messaging is on. And I know it's hard to believe people. Like, I feel like it's hard to believe what other people are saying when you're going through it. I feel you, girls. I feel you. I really, it is effing hard. And keep doing it if you want to have a family and you have the calling.
Thank you, Abby. That was beautiful. Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today, and I'll be following you on Mama by Design as well and looking for all your family updates. So thank you again for all you're doing to empower people to help them make decisions that ultimately could be what I say, Plan B is the plan that was meant to be.
Oh, love it. And I say, although I haven't started doing it, I'm egging you on to get a donor egg. I love it. Thank you for all the work you're doing. You're really a
You're
genius.
welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Abby. Thank you.
Welcome to the Egg Whisperer Show, a program exclusively designed to promote reproductive health awareness and discuss fertility preservation options. Here is your host, the Harvard-educated fertility specialist, Dr. Amy.
She's known as the Egg Whisperer.
Fertility expert Dr. Abbey
And you have yet another success story.
Just launched by an East Bay fertility doctor.